It looks like you are an alien, actually. And I can see right away they're showing me Machu Picchu, which means I think you came over during the Mayan period. And if you are from Machu Picchu, then you're probably from the star cluster of Sirius, from what I understand.
Hello, my friend and earthly neighbor, and welcome back to the joyful month of July. Well, since I went on hiatus, emotions have been intense. The human race is transiting their emotional field known as Cancer, and up until now, we've been dealing with the stuff at the bottom of the pond, not to mention an intense full moon that might have divided you over the weekend. But Sensei says this week we're going to cast out to feel better. In fact, I call it ascending calmer. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your weekly Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a loving and uplifting way to begin your day. I'm your heartfelt host and what I call the Sensei to Sirius Joy, Christopher Witecki. So good to be back, my friend. Namaste. Well, so far in the first couple weeks of Cancer, things have been a bit tough. Cancer is emotion, I feel. And so this is the annual time where human beings face their deep, true feelings about certain things. Now, because we've grown a whole lot this year, because we're shedding off a lot of old karmic ties, I argue this was a bumpier and more turbulent emotional period than I've normally experienced. In fact, we've been mostly clearing the bottom out of our pool or the dirt at the bottom of the pond. It all got stirred up, and depending on how much you are emotionally aware during the year, kind of determined how much friction or waves or turbulence you had to face so far. Well, the good news is, I think things are going to change. In fact, starting this week, I argue you're going to ascend to a calmer place. And this calmer place will be the new foundation for some potential serious joy. This emotional cushion that we are installing is the first step to coming into our heart and the preparation for the Great American Solar Eclipse in late August. So in this week's show, I'm going to go over everything you can expect to ascend to a calmer state in our next segment this week. And later in our tea time, I'm going to talk about what I call a Super Yod. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is from Monday, July 10th to Friday, July 14th, 2017. And looking at your 5-day Moodcast, well, the week starts off a little rough and just gets calmer day by day. Let's drill down. On Monday, it's sunny, but it's rather detached. You're ready to move forward with your emotional plans, but thank goddess the moon in Aquarius makes you a little numb. On Tuesday, it's sunny and productive. You'll get a minor break from all the emotional turbulence and be able to move forward. On Wednesday, it's cloudy and rather humid. That's because step 20 rules the day and emotion turns into passion. On Thursday, it's sunny and evolving. You're going to begin to grow out of your normal emotional skin and see a higher light. And on Friday, it's sunny and super dynamic as step 22 rules the day. Well, it's going to be really a week of just growing step by step, but there's a backstory going on, and there's a Super Yod. In our next segment this week, I'm going to talk you through each day, Monday through Friday. Taking a peek at the upcoming week, I coined this week Ascending Calmer. And that's exactly what I think we are doing. We're ascending out of the high turbulence, heavy bottom emotional energy, and we're ascending to a calmer state of grace. And for those of us who've always been in fight or flight mode their whole life or fighting to survive, calm is not necessarily an easy thing to do. In fact, there's always a part of me that wants to disrupt the calm as soon as I bring it. But I think this is a new and higher calm, and it's because of really some outer planets that we have grand trining through the week. It's also due to what I call a super yod. Literally, we have a yod between Jupiter and Mercury and Leo pointing to Neptune in Pisces. So this is the push to our spiritual calm, our spiritual awareness, our spiritual peace, which is, I think, a big part of the formula of our emotional security. So looking at the week ahead, we start off on Monday with step 18 ruling the day and the moon in Aquarius. Up until this day, 18 days prior, you've been clearing out your bottom stuff of your energy. You've been healing emotional issues, facing all the emotional boogeyman. And as of Monday, you are ready to take action. You're ready to move forward. And the moon in Aquarius allows you to detach and really just get the job done, which is great because emotion has been super heavy. I've even been more emotional and dramatic about getting out of bed. I've been more emotional and dramatic about having to go to work. Like, I've been feeling it, and I've been nurturing myself the whole way. So moon in Aquarius is going to help. And the cool thing is this moon in Aquarius is going to create what we call a grand trine for the day between Venus in Gemini and Jupiter in Libra. So as we move forward to feel better, you'll likely have a grand realization, an epiphany, an intellectual aha moment that makes you realize, this is why I've always been stuck in emotion, or, oh, this was what was holding me back. And this epiphany is going to help you find your grand calm. Tuesday, things are actually pretty productive. In fact, if you want to plan to get things done, Tuesday is the day. Step 19 rules the day. The moon is still in Aquarius. The sun is starting to conjunct Mars now, and so there's going to be a lot of aggressive, masculine, ego-based energy right next to our emotion. Now, if you haven't cleared your emotional state or faced your anger issues, or if you know someone who hasn't faced their anger issues, as of Tuesday, things could get a little sticky. In fact, the Sun and Mars will be courting each other for nearly 2 weeks now, so it's going to be very aggressive. Now, it's my opinion that this masculine energy is for you to get up and go to the doctor. It's for you to get up and go to the gym. It's for you to get up and do something about your feelings. But if you just sit and allow your feelings to stew, if you don't have an outlet for that passion or direction for your intentions, you may have a little anger, you may have anxiety, you may be burst to certain outbursts of inner child temper tantrums. So Tuesday's productive, but if you don't channel the energy, it could go sour. On Wednesday, it's cloudy and it gets very humid. The moon will move between Aquarius and Pisces on this day, so it'll start off kind of cold and detached, but then it'll get very sensitive and very vulnerable. On top of that, step 20 rules the day, and that's when life becomes about emotion and. Step 2 is I feel. So emotion and how protected we are, emotion and how our love is, emotion and how emotion is. So things get more emotional. This is why it was important for you to clear out the bottom emotions and cut away from what doesn't work for you in last weekend's full moon. But on Wednesday, if you don't take the time and space to nurture or protect yourself, things can get very sticky. And if you have any emotional tension with someone, things will get very humid. It's going to be very hard and difficult to breathe in the room. So Sensei says if you've got a problem with the relationship, face it by Tuesday, because Wednesday things could kind of steam over. Then on Thursday, it's sunny and evolving. Step 21 rules the day. I like to say step 21 is when it starts to get fun. You could say a rainbow comes out after that cloudy day. And also, this is the day where we start to really intensify our Super Yod. I'll talk about the Super Yod in today's tea time. But the universe is trying to get you to evolve on Thursday and see a higher light. And hopefully doors will open up, information will come in, a solution for healing will happen, and Thursday things will be feeling better. So if you're really feeling stuck in a certain rut, it looks like it's not until Thursday that you'll have a door open or an opportunity happen for you that will kind of start to resolve it. And then on Friday, it's sunny and super dynamic. In fact, Friday is an interesting day. It's actually the day where the Super Yod comes to a complete harmonic. I'll talk about that. So it looks like on Friday is the day where we really understand what it will take for us to emotionally ascend to the next level. That may mean out of our fears, out of our worry, out of the emotional condition you were born to. Perhaps you were born to a condition where you were ignored emotionally. Perhaps you were born to a condition that was always passion and fighting going on in your house. And so a lot of us have been rumbling with these childhood issues and taking them into our adulthood, creating dysfunctions based on them. And this is the transit where you really might get to the understanding and bottom of why it is you continue that emotional behavior, and on Friday you'll likely have a breakthrough. Now, some people on Friday will have a breakdown. Anyone who has been resisting or taking a lot of drugs or drinking every night, doing alcohol all the time, really ignoring your feelings, it could boil up to a huge volcanic emotional breakdown on Friday. So anyone that's on the edge should really take good care of themselves. And if you know someone who's on the edge, you might want to check in on them on Friday, because it looks like there will be some breakdown. But at the same time, there's a lot of healing. The moon will be on Chiron during this breakdown breakthrough, so if someone does break down, they'll find help right there, okay? And the universe is really wanting us to heal. And like I mentioned, I really think that this is ascending to a calmer state. We have been used to living in certain emotional turmoil, and it's almost like being on a slow-floating river raft. You ever go on those river raft rides where you just sit in a tube and the water sort of takes you around and you see people and it's very calm? That's what we're trying to do. This week it's really about how you respond to yourself. Responding yourself to take it to a calmer state instead of reacting to add more passion or more intensity to what you're feeling. And trying to find a higher calm river to float down, not because that's our goal to stay there, but because that's our goal of ground zero, where we want to live and wake up to every day. So it's a week of self-nurturing, it's a week of self-discovery, and you'll likely have some sort of a breakthrough about what has kept you not calm or not feeling good. Now this brings us to our next topic for tea time. I want to talk about this big super yod in the sky. Go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our weekly tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. This week's tea time topic is Super Yod. The universe is giving us a powerful week-long yod that all comes into a super harmonic on Friday. By super harmonic, I mean all 3 planets in the yod will be at step 14 on the same day, and then they switch the very next day. So they all come into this harmonic on Friday where they hit step 14. Step 14 is I love, I belong, and therefore I think differently. So step 14 is a major shift where your heart feels it belongs somewhere else, and as a result of your heart belonging somewhere else, your mind thinks and goes there. You realize, yes, that's where I go, that's where I belong, and your mind accepts it. So it's the aha moment, it's a breakthrough moment, and it involves innovation. That 14, step 4. Step 4 is I innovate. Now, at the same time as the yod goes to a harmonic, the sun will be at step 22 Cancer, which adds to a 4, which means all of our emotional state will feel like it belongs at a higher level. So this whole week, as we're kind of plowing through, trying to be calmer, trying to find a calmer state, it looks like it all comes to a great yod epiphany on Friday. And not only will it come to that epiphany, but the moon will cross Chiron during the day, and that means we will let go and release from some old emotional pain. So I want to kind of go through the yod for all 12 signs and how it's going to have a bit of a breakthrough of your emotions that leads to a new emotional commitment, and how at the same time you're probably going to have a spiritual breakthrough, because at the tip of that yod is Neptune in Pisces at step 14. Step 14 Neptune Pisces means you're going to spiritually feel like you belong on a higher level. The other 2 planets in the yod, by the way, are Mercury in Leo, so thinking differently about our self-love, and Jupiter in Libra, having new beliefs about what is fair. New self-love, what is fair, spiritual evolution. And with that spiritual evolution, an emotional breakthrough on the Cancer side. So let's go through for all 12 signs to give you a little bit more of a digestion of this. And I want to point out, as always, if you know your rising sign or ascendant, you should listen to this right now, because this is a time where our long-term life stories are changing just as much as our day-to-day, moment-to-moment life story is changing. So you'll probably see profound change in both your A story and your B story, which is your sun sign and your rising sign. Let's begin first with Aries. Aries will be having an emotional breakthrough, period. This hits them in the 4th house. They're going to have an emotional breakthrough and really feel like they belong on a new emotional level. It's highly likely that Aries are breaking out of an emotional foundation that goes all the way back to childhood, because Uranus in Aries, Saturn in Sag, there's other slow-moving planets that are really pulling us out of that birth karma. So you'll likely have a profound breakthrough about home and family. The Yod is saying that as you have a breakthrough with home and family, it's also a simultaneous realization that you belong on a higher spiritual level. That higher spiritual level might be self-forgiveness. That higher spiritual level might be that you discover your soul calling, that now that you feel better, you want to go out there and help the world or go out there and do something. Or it may even be that you break through emotionally and you literally have higher contact with spirit, because most of the time what blocks spirit is our own emotional junk. Taurus. Taurus is going to have a breakthrough in emotional attitude on Friday. And I myself have seen my emotional attitude. I've caught my mind being negative several times in the last 2 weeks when there was no reason to be negative. It was just like a mental habit. So Tauruses will have an emotional attitude breakthrough. Finally going positive. Finally seeing the light, for instance. Maybe letting go of a lot of problems. And simultaneously, as they have that intellectual, emotional breakthrough, they will at the same time feel called to a higher social calling. So that Neptune for them calls them to live on a higher social plane in the world. Perhaps they've always played victim, let's say, and now you would play the hero or the healer or the spiritual one. But Tauruses have literally been held back, what this says, probably by their emotional attitudes, and they're freed from that coming Friday. Gemini. Gemini will have an emotional breakthrough with their personal value of themselves, what they value, their self-esteem, etc. And this is going to go completely in tandem with a spiritual evolution in their career and legacy. So because of their self-esteem, it looks like, they've been kept in a certain level of karma when it comes to career success and legacy success, or even having children or raising children. So they'll have a breakthrough with esteem that allows them to succeed. Cancers. Cancers are hit really hard by this. We're in the sun in Cancer right now. Cancers will have an emotional breakthrough about their attitude and their behavior. So their ego, basically. And a lot of Cancer's ego has been based on being hurt and always being the caretaker, never being taken care of, And so I think whatever that ego emotional dynamic is, they will have a breakthrough that occurs for them on Friday, and that will be tied into the Yod and them ascending to a higher spiritual calling or a higher belief in themselves about life. So because of their emotional character, they weren't seeing their high calling, but not after the Yod. Leos. Leos are having a hard time right now. I have a Leo rising. I've certainly been feeling this. They've been calling to a higher faith. And on Friday, I argue, Leos and Leo risings will have a breakthrough with their spiritual, emotional faith, finally feeling the faith inside of them. And with the Yod happening at a harmonic at the same time, they're going to find that their trust in themselves and the universe ascends to a higher spiritual level. So, for instance, you might have always thought that God left you behind, that you were not helped, that you couldn't trust the world. But by finding your faith, you will find the trust in yourself and the power to transform your life. A lot of what's been holding Leos back from their best has been their own emotional faith in themselves. Virgos. Virgos are going to have a transcendence in their social calling. They've always kept themselves at a certain part of society, felt that they belonged to a certain part. For instance, always the caretaker, always the babysitter, always the maid, all right? But emotionally, there will be a breakthrough where you realize you have a higher emotional and social calling. What will happen at the same time with the Yod is that you will ascend to a new karmic level of relationships entirely. So what the astrology suggests is your relationships have been held back, and the potential for great relationships have been held back because you felt you socially belonged at a certain level. And with that level came a certain relationship. Libras. Libras are going to feel different about their future. They're going to have an emotional breakthrough about their future, about their parenting, about their potential for their lifelong legacy. So they're going to feel like they bust out of a bit of a cage or a maze that they've been stuck in. And what will happen simultaneously for Libras is you will see a spiritual elevation of your daily lifestyle. So because you kept yourself in a bit of an emotional box with career, you kept yourself at a certain level in your daily life. So now it'll be more compassionate, more gentle, and maybe because it's career, you might even decide to go down a spiritual path as a light walker for your career. Scorpios. Scorpios will be feeling a new life purpose. So emotionally, Scorpios have not been really believing themselves. There was too much evidence why things go wrong. Kind of emotionally staying in a, well, we'll see kind of rut when it comes to beliefs. But on Friday, I argue, you will have an emotional breakthrough where you will see the picture. You will feel a new life purpose. You will feel new meaning that you didn't have before. And what happens with the Super Yod at the same time is your heart karmically graduates to another level. So your heart has been hurt a lot, abandoned a lot, not received its equality. I mean, these are some of the stories I get for the spiritual level that Scorpio love has been on. But by going along with this new belief, emotionally believing yourself, your own love karma goes up to a new level here, and you will feel that you have new love or creative projects coming in the future. Sagittariuses are emotionally two areas. For the one hand, emotions for them is their trust and intimacy. So they've been stuck in a little bit of a box as far as what they can trust and what they couldn't. And it was their feelings that couldn't trust past a certain point. By Friday, I think your feelings will bust out of that trap. You will feel that you can trust. You will feel that you can trust someone else. You will feel that you can transform your life. And with the Super Yod going on at the same time, you're going to find your entire emotional foundation raised to a new spiritual level. So what this is suggesting is you were probably born to a karmic situation, and that has made you not trust. But once you break through the trust, your emotional security can go to another level. It'd be almost as if you'd be born to a new family as of now. You've broken from your family karma. Capricorns, you are feeling it when it comes to relationships. Capricorns have been stuck at an emotional level with relationships. That's a way of relating to themselves. That's a way of being related to others. You will have an emotional breakthrough with the potential of your marriage and partnerships. And what will happen simultaneously is your doubt and your attitude will rise to a higher spiritual level. So Capricorns have been very much kind of negative, stuck in their rhetoric, stuck in their head, and that was likely due to the emotional traps they were in their relationships. Once you graduate these traps, then your mind is peaceful and free. Aquariuses are very emotional in their daily life. They pretty much feel pressure cooked by reality, and so you're going to have an emotional breakthrough with your health, your work, or your lifestyle potential. So you're going to feel like you break through to a new way of living day to day. And with the Yod, the good news is you've been living at a karmic economic level for a long time, and the Super Yod will now take you to a higher karmic level. So if you've always been the poor man or the poor woman, not anymore, says the universe. By living in an emotionally more fulfilling moment, you break yourself out of the karma of a certain financial rut. And then finally, the Pisces. Pisces are emotionally ascending and breaking through their heartfelt issues. Many Pisces felt like they couldn't love or wouldn't receive the love that they wanted, or Pisces were stuck on an old love because they have a lot of karmic love. So when it comes to love, loving yourself, and creativity, you've been stuck in an emotional bubble. But on Friday, I argue that Pisces will have a breakthrough, break on through out of that emotional bubble, and with the Yod pointing into your ego, it means your entire action plan, all the options you have in life, will now ascend to a higher spiritual level. So if you're always the victim, you may now be the savior. If you're always the one getting in trouble, you might be the one helping someone get out of trouble. So you're going to ascend to your literal ego karma. I think for Pisces, who were born to live through many lifetimes in one life and clear up a lot of karma, they are absolutely in the next 2 months breaking from one of their karmic cycles and moving into another karmic cycle. So out of all the signs, I'm probably most excited to watch the Pisces. So, Sensei, how do we deal with this? How you deal with it is you are emotionally aware all week long. Be emotionally aware of where you come from emotionally. Be aware of how you tend to be emotionally stuck. And then just keep an open mind. Is it possible that I belong on a higher spiritual level altogether? That my mind, Mercury in Leo, needs to think more loving. That Jupiter in Libra, I need to be more fair with myself and create more equality. And all this may suggest that you belong on a higher level. I don't think you can really screw this up, but if you pay attention to your feelings and you observe your life through the week, you'll likely get there automatically. So be sure to comment and let me know what happens. I love hearing from all of you. Now, a couple announcements. First of all, I want to say it's my summer reading sale. This is my summer reading sale. I do it every summer, and I lower my prices. My 1-hour reading will be lowered by $40. My 30-minute reading will be lowered by $25. If you want a reading with me, come down quick to get it, because I only have so many slots available these days because I'm so busy, and they fill up kind of fast. You can find out more about my readings at wateki.me. Also, I want to remind you that I will be live on Friday for Friday Live this Friday. That will be in our Facebook club, namastetoday.club. If you can't make it in the club, if you hate Facebook like many people do, don't worry. I upload it to YouTube later, and I also put it into my personal Sensei service. And that's the last thing I want to say. If you haven't tried my personal Sensei service, you are missing out. I've worked 3 years on this thing. It will literally track your rising sign and your sun sign every day, 7 days a week. You get a personal pep talk from me, and you get a weekend Zen. So you are literally handheld through the week, 7 days a week. We are changing some of our most profound karma. You can try this service for a full month for just $3.99. For more information, come on down to SiriusJoy.com. Well, friends, it's a hot summer day, but it's starting to cloud up. We're getting a little bit of busts of rain. I don't know if you noticed, it started to rain a little bit while I was recording here, which is a breath of fresh air. I think that's like a nice metaphor for how the week will go. It might be humid, but by Friday, I predict rain and breakthrough. We're out there fighting the good fight. Remember that Sensei loves you, and to live, love, be.